We are live, man. NXT last night. Matt Riddle, Timothy Thathcer, the pit fight, or the fight pit in the main event of NXT last night. Matt Riddle is no longer on NXT. Last night was his send-off, and now he's being shipped off to my good old buddy Bruce on SmackDown. This will be the end of Matt Riddle's career. We're going to talk about that. Well, not really, but we're going to talk about that. And everybody that goes to the main roster from NXT, we all know they die 1,000 deaths. So we're going to talk about what WWE has planned for Matt Riddle. What is he going to fit into on the main roster? How is he going to fare on the main roster? And I got all of your NXT news and notes coming out of last night's show right here on Off the Script.
Delete this mark. Alive with people still
right here on Off the Script. It is Thursday, May 28th, 2020, and I am here. We're going to talk NXT from last night's show. Pretty decent show last night. NXT finally had their first dose of fans inside Full of Fans. I use that very loosely. I mean, there was no difference last night from what I seen from any other show that NXT has done from Full Sail. It sounded like a empty arena show. Even with the NXT roster or the developmental talent there. Their plexiglass was there. They were there all social distanced. Right? I don't know what it is, man, but again, I mentioned this on Monday, even with all of the talk on social media that WWE finally owned up and they got fans or the talent in the Performance Center to give the show some life. It still sounds like, to me, that WWE isn't even fully embracing the fact that they could actually have life on their show. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they are sending them out there and having them act genuine, but something seems to be off with whatever's going on with the developmental talent inside the Performance Center. They have no life. It's as if there are nobody. It's as if that there's nobody there at times. It's almost as if they're scripted, is what I mentioned on my Monday Night Raw review. Like they're given cues to cheer and boo when and how they do it, how loud or how low they should be. Now, there were rumors going around that WWE had these poor souls stand out there for hours upon hours upon hours through multiple sets of tapings. Can you imagine if you're an NXT talent? Yes, you're happy to be a part of something main roster. This is what your future could potentially look like. And then you got to sit there for 4 or 5 hours watching a dual taping of Monday Night Raw from the Performance Center or a dual taping, God forbid, of SmackDown. How awful would that be? So I got news on what WWE is going to be doing and how they're going to be instituting this moving forward. Will there be fans for TakeOver? I don't know. I hope that there are actual legit fans and not any of the NXT developmental talent, because they're not doing a good job at all. It does not resemble what AEW is doing whatsoever. So we'll go over that. I got news on that. We got the Fight Pit. First of all, it was a steel cage match, and then they changed it to a fight pit on NXT last night with Timothy Thathcer and Matt Riddle. And this was, without question, Matt Riddle's send-off. Because if there's anything regarding Matt Riddle, I think in the consensus of the community, I think he's been ready. He has been ready for the main roster. Whether we want him on the main roster or not, that's a completely different story. Some want him because of the fresh matchups and the fact that he is, like I said, ready for that spot. He's one of the best guys that they got in the entire company. One of the most charismatic, genuine guys that they got in the entire company. And then there are those like me who are absolutely terrified of what main roster creative is going to do with Matt Riddle on SmackDown. Of all shows, SmackDown is the show that he's going to. Now, I got my reasons as to why he may end up on SmackDown and why the rumors are saying SmackDown. I don't know why he's not going to Monday Night Raw. I could probably pinpoint the one biggest reason why he's not going to Monday Night Raw. But if you look on the Monday Night Raw side of things, Paul Heyman is a huge advocate for Matt Riddle. And he's not, according to the rumors at least, not going to Monday night. So we'll talk about that. He may not even be needed on Monday night. They have such a stacked roster on Monday night that Matt Riddle is not really needed over there. He could absolutely do more damage on SmackDown. They need him more. So I could absolutely see that being a good thing if booked correctly. So we'll talk about that and what happened with the fight pit. Could this be a new gimmick that WWE institutes on WWE TV? Is this a thing that they're going to build around Timothy Thathcer? They need to build some fucking charisma around Timothy Thathcer. He's like a box of white rice. No soy sauce, no chicken, no vegetables, nothing. He's literally a box of white rice. That's all he is. He is one of those guys that is great at what he does. Could literally beat the shit out of you. But he's got no charisma. So why am I going to invest my time in somebody that is not really giving anything back? He's so one-dimensional. I mean, a little dose of soy sauce on there would do wonders. I don't like just plain white rice. Nobody does. Nobody does. But Timothy Thathcer, that's exactly what he comes off as. Kurt Angle was the referee, the special guest referee. They brought him back, another guy that was furloughed by WWE on Black Wednesday, a little more than a month ago. He was the special referee. Really didn't factor into anything. He was just there as a name to build around. Hey, look, we're doing this special attraction, and we got Kurt Angle. Please watch us. Please watch us. Everybody's watching AEW. Mike Tyson. Please. It's exactly why they did that. But who's watching for Kurt Angle? Nobody. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, two of my favorite women in the WWE. Well, I mean, if you want to look at Rhea Ripley and what she said regarding the situation I was in on Memorial Day, maybe I like her a little less, but I still like Rhea Ripley. Io Shirai is the personification, is the definition of what women's wrestling should be in the WWE. They took on the android queen, Charlotte Flair. She was there for cleansing, a battery recharge on NXT, and she certainly got it. We'll go over why Charlotte Flair pinned Io Shirai in their match tonight, or last night, I should say, and she was with a partner of her choosing. And we'll go over who that was and why they chose this specific individual, and why WWE can't seem to land a solid gimmick that doesn't change week to week with this said individual. And they got a triple threat match coming up. Ripley, Shirai, and the Android at Takeover in your house on Sunday, June 7th. That was made official. And then Adam Cole. Adam Cole sat down with the general manager of NXT, William Regal. They had a live negotiation via, I guess, Zoom or Skype on NXT last night. Enough of these Skype sessions, please. So Cole says he wants to make sure the Velveteen Dream disappears forever, just like everybody in the IWC wants me to disappear forever. Not happening. And stays out of the Undisputed Era's business. So we'll go over that. And William Regal did tease a little bit. Could end up being that this match, if they go through with it, at TakeOver, which I believe they will because there is nobody else for Dream or Cole at this point. And nobody knows what's happening with Cole. There are rumors going on in the community right now about Adam Cole and his contract status, where he's going, where he could end up going. Is he going to join Britt Baker in AEW? Is he going to stay with the WWE? If he does, he's going to be a very rich man. And we'll talk about Adam Cole on this particular show as well. They could be going in a very cinematic route with Adam Cole and the Velveteen Dream. Where they do this, how they do it, what type of background and scenery they give these two guys, I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. I don't even have the slightest of ideas what they could do cinematic with the Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. Then we got the Cruiserweight Championship situation, which I was over about 3 weeks ago. I am completely over the Drake Maverick situation. You took me, a human being who felt for another human being who I had to watch on social media cry his fucking eyes out because he lost the job of his dreams, and WWE brought him back, made him still compete in this tournament, and they're turning all of that genuine emotion into a storyline, and who knows if this guy is going to actually have a job at the end of this thing. We talked about this for a few weeks on the show. Well, what makes Drake Maverick, if they do keep him around, what makes him so special in regards to everybody else that lost their job? Why bring him back and not bring somebody back like a Zack Ryder, who's been there, who's been a WWE soldier for 15 years? Or a Rusev or a Heath Slater that's been there for about the same amount of time as a Zack Ryder, who never got an opportunity. You're going to bring back Drake Maverick? I was never a big Drake Maverick guy to begin with. And now you're using his real emotion in a storyline to push your agenda and then at the end of this possibly get rid of him? Now I don't even want him back. Just because of how you're portraying the real emotion here and you're not really giving me anything of substance with this tournament. You're turning it into a predictable fucking mess is what you're turning it into. How the fuck do we have a round-robin tournament end up in a triple threat match? I mean, there's levels of idiocy. This is one of them, of the highest degree. A round-robin tournament should be just that, a round-robin. The guy with the best record in Group B, the guy with the best record in Group A, they fight to go on to the final. That's the way it should have been. How does WWE do it? Hey, we're being epic. We're being epic. We're going to do a triple threat match to decide this thing and really give it this epic feel. Instead of using this guy's poor termination, right? His termination from WWE, using this poor soul's fucking firing to build around a tournament that should already be over and determined. So we'll go over that. I did not. I even expressed this on social media. I did not like the way that ended on social media last night. So that is the layout for the show. We'll go over all of that stuff right here on the podcast, man. I want to thank you guys for showing up today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support this week. You guys are beast. I love it. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We got 187 likes. Motherfucker, let's get this up to... We're at 600 people in here right now. It's got to be at least 600. Got to be at least 600, man. So make sure you guys do that. And we got the Alexa Bliss fucking trolls in here already. I mean, get the fuck out of here, please. If you're not here to watch the show, please go and suck a massive cock. Simple, okay? So get out of the chat. I would appreciate you guys if you want to stay here. Please, just be civil and do what you got to do. Enjoy the show, okay? I don't want to deal with any more mess. But make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to check out my AEW Dynamite review, that is live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out. We talked about Mike Tyson. We talked about the Young Bucks. We talked about the Cody Rhodes situation with the TV championship. And why I did not like the Mike Tyson situation with Chris Jericho at the end of the show. So make sure you guys go and do that as well. Monday Night Raw, great review coming out on Monday. And I will be obviously here all weekend long with a ton of content. We got Off the Script coming. We got SmackDown coming. And it's going to be a great weekend, man. So strap yourselves in. It should be a good one. Let's get into the top of the show, man. I want to start off with the news and rumors about the NXT Full Sail crowd that WWE got, the fans that they got to stand outside behind the plexiglass, which looks absolutely fucking ridiculous, by the way. I'm letting you guys know right now, the plexiglass looks ridiculous. I don't even know why they do it. I don't. It's their way to say, you know what, they're doing what they're doing over there, so we gotta up the game a little bit. We gotta up the game over in WWE. We're gonna use the plexiglass. It looks ridiculous. There's a big glare on the plexiglass. It looks stupid. It's not. It does. If you want to make these shows feel genuine and feel like there's life there, you're gonna take that life and hide it behind fucking plexiglass, where their voices and their life, the emotion that they're trying to inject into the show bounces off of. You're not even getting the full effect of the show. I hate it, man. It looks ridiculous. So they got this plexiglass there. Jim Ross made fun of it on Dynamite, and rightfully so. I'm not really one to sit here and say that they should be throwing pot shots at WWE, but WWE deserves it. They deserve the cheap shots because they don't really do and embrace anything and make it feel genuine. WWE sucks the fun out of everything. So that's that. Now, once it was reported that WWE was planning to use NXT and developmental talent as fans in attendance for their weekly television programs, Monday Night and Friday Night SmackDown, there were questions then as to whether NXT will get the same treatment. I would assume so, being that they are a legitimate third brand for this company. Up until this point, there wasn't any word on what WWE had planned. However, this happened late Tuesday night. Fightful Select said that the Performance Center talent was notified that they will be used for the audience at NXT on Wednesday. Now, with this, there are also some slight changes compared to what WWE did on Monday and Tuesday for the TV tapings that taped upcoming episodes of Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and Main Event. So imagine that. You had to sit, or stand, I should say. They didn't even let them sit. Stand in the Performance Center while all of this nonsense was happening. Now, the talent being used as fans for NXT this week are on call times throughout the day. They also aren't required to stay there throughout the day, and they can leave and then return, which, I mean, is logical. Somebody's got to take a bathroom break. Somebody wants to go get a drink. Somebody wants to go get something to eat. Somebody's got to go home and walk the dog. Whatever. So I'm happy to hear that. Talent who worked the main roster tapings had to stay there all day, which reportedly turned into being a long day of trying to keep energy while standing and only having short breaks throughout the tapings. As of this writing, there are no words yet coming out of WWE on whether fans in attendance, is being planned for the NXT TakeOver In Your House pay-per-view, but it's likely. So that is what is going on in regards to that. It almost doesn't feel genuine to me. It almost doesn't feel genuine whatsoever. I feel like WWE has taken this and embraced it. Great. I give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I give them praise for at least trying to inject life into these dead shows. But even when they try and inject life into the shows and be somewhat normal, they come off being uncool. They come off as if they really don't want to do it, but they're doing it because AEW is doing it, or they're doing it because they have no choice. They're doing it because the ratings are down. They're doing it because people are complaining online. Then they do it, and they do it all wrong. They do it, and they do it sloppily. It sucks. The plexiglass looks ridiculous. Having the tapings the way that they have the tapings, and then having, especially for the main roster shows, the talents stand there all day. I mean, after 1 hour, people will probably be going crazy. Imagine 5 hours of Monday Night Raw tapings, 4 hours of SmackDown tapings. You might want to put a fucking gun to your head. That is awful. How do you expect anybody to keep up that energy for that show? It's next to impossible. Even on NXT last night, there was really no life emanating from Full Sail University. Some of it came off as obnoxious. There was no difference between this and an empty arena show. At one point last night, I'm thinking to myself, man, oh man, this is obnoxious. I would actually prefer the empty arena vibe. WWE just doesn't embrace what they need to do right. It's always like they are being forced into doing it and they're kind of acting childish as they do it. So that's that. We'll talk about more on this subject as we go into the weekend on Off the Script, no question, because I got news on what WWE did with the main roster developmental talent as fans on Monday and Friday night. So we'll get into the Matt Riddle and Adam Cole situations as we head on into the show. But I wanted to start off with that. Show started off with Drew Gulak, but Drew Gulak is on SmackDown. I'll be mentioning Drew Gulak later. I don't know why I was thinking Drew Gulak. I got Timothy Thathcer and Drew Gulak in the same mindset. Drake Maverick, Jake Atlas, and Kushida to advance to the finals of the Interim Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. Listen, man, the tournament, I was very excited for the round-robin tournament. I really was. It's something that WWE really hasn't done before in the past. WWE has done a great job with tournaments as of late. We got the IC title tournament, which I think is going to end up playing out very well. You know, I got some insider scoops about what is going on and what the finals are going to be and how they're going to go about that. We'll talk about that on Off the Script this weekend as well. I also loved the King of the Ring last year. I thought, and a lot of people also thought, Baron Corbin did a very good job in the King of the Ring. They actually made him look legit in the King of the Ring last year. He had a lot of his best matches probably ever coming out of that tournament. And I thought the overall tournament with the 16 men was great. And I hope that they revisit that at some point this year. The IC title tournament, like I said, we got this tournament here for the Cruiserweight Championship. Jordan Devlin can't come over from the United Kingdom to defend the title here in the States on NXT. He's stuck there due to travel restrictions. They're going to come up with an interim champion, and by the time they do that, hopefully he is able to come back over to the States, and we can have an interim champion versus a legit champion versus champion match to find out who the real champion is in NXT in the Cruiserweight division. The round-robin tournament is something that New Japan does for the G1. I love that style. I wish WWE would have implemented this on the main roster with the King of the Ring. It would chew up so many weeks of television, and you would have to basically worry about nothing but the tournament for the King of the Ring. Imagine a round-robin tournament for the King of the Ring. Imagine the WWE using their brand-to-brand invitational for the King of the Ring. 8 on Raw, 8 on SmackDown, round-robin style, a mix of styles, a mix of matches throughout an extended, it could be 2-month period, right? 8 weeks of television leading up to a big final at a pay-per-view, number one contendership on the line for any championship of that person's choosing at SummerSlam. I mean, it just books itself. I love shit like that, man. That is, if you want to invest in anything, if you want to get the fans invested in anything, it is a round-robin tournament or a tournament like that. That's why I love the Cruiserweight Classic so much. That's why I loved the Mae Young Classics so much. Because you get to know who these people are. You get to see them work different styles against different opponents, right? Moving on inch by inch to hopefully get to the finals. And just the tournament aspect. You might not know somebody in the beginning of the tournament. You might be in love with them at the end of the tournament. I love it. They fucked up this round-robin tournament on NXT. I was excited about it, and then as the weeks went on, the matches got shorter. The matches were nothing more than just segments on NXT. They almost reminded me of a Monday Night Raw segment. Just throwing the cruiserweights out there for 2 or 3 minutes, and that's it. Just get them on TV and have them go back to the showers. So the interest fell off, as far as I'm concerned, with the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament, the Interim Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. I seen who was in it. I'm like, all right, I'll give this a shot. Jake Atlas, never seen anything from him before. I'm not a big fan. Decent wrestler. You know, he's got that underdog babyface style that's working to break barriers. Not really my thing. But we got Drake Maverick. WWE took somebody that I actually had an emotional connection to on Twitter after he was terminated. And they kind of ruined all of that for me. They're turning it into this big babyface come-from-behind story. Is he going to keep his job? Then you got Kushida. And I'm wondering, even now, why WWE signed Kushida. What is WWE going to do with Kushida if he doesn't win this tournament? And again, why do they bring him in? You haven't done anything with him since. So why is he even here? Why wouldn't you let this guy, of all guys, win the fucking tournament? You want your Cruiserweight Championship to mean something, then Kushida is your man. Where does he fit after all of this nonsense? Then WWE has a three-way tie. So you got Group A, 3 guys are tied at 2-1. And I'm like, here we go. WWE's got to take the most convoluted way out of this fucking thing. Now we got a triple threat match in a goddamn round-robin tournament. It is simple. WWE has taken the round-robin tournament and convoluted the most simplest of concepts. In what fucking round-robin tournament would you see a triple threat match? I wouldn't have booked it that way. I don't even want to see Drake Maverick in the fucking finals of this thing anymore. At first, I'm like, this could make for a good story. And as the weeks went on, I'm like, I don't want to see this shit anymore. You're going to ask me, because I know what your fucking agenda is. You're going to ask me to choose this guy over wanting to see a Kushida in the finals? Isn't the tournament final supposed to be the best versus the best? Not the guy who has, this crybaby sob story about losing his job in the finals, who's not even half as good as the guy looking at him on the other side. It's ridiculous. You ruined everything for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. WWE has taken Drake Maverick and taken that real emotional connection to the fans, and they've turned it into a storyline where they might not even give him that babyface redemption. They might not even give him that shot to save his job. Do you honestly expect him to go into a match against Phantasma next week and beat a guy that, even before this tournament, we have not seen before? You mean to tell me that, now, they could very well do that. Knowing these fucking people, they probably would book this shit and make it a mockery. But you mean to tell me I'm supposed to think that Drake Maverick, of all guys, is going to beat a guy that has not been on TV since, right? This was his first go in NXT, this tournament. And that he's in the middle of a storyline right now where you got 3 masked fucking luchadors trying to kidnap this guy. You don't think that that's going to come into play next week? Of course that's going to come into play. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they take Drake Maverick away and that's how he's terminated. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's how they take him off TV and that's how he goes into life after WWE. I don't know what they do. But they take Drake Maverick's story, turn it into a sob story to push their agenda and then not give this guy a job. Did they think because whatever translated in that video, 2 million views on Twitter, that it was going to translate into people watching this guy's redemption story? No. So why even bother keeping him? Why ruin your tournament for something that people were feeling in the moment? Why ruin this guy's fucking mentality even further? Giving him the hope of maybe showing that he could be here and working his ass off to maybe get another chance, ultimately to just be fired anyway. I hate it. You took it to the utmost extremes, and I just don't care anymore. In fact, I don't even want to see him win the tournament, let alone the match against Phantasma. And by the way, just the cherry on top of the cake here, Drake Maverick, to me, I never was enthused to see him in the ring. I don't really like his style. I look at Drake Maverick, I look at a jobber. I look at a guy that is not really the crown jewel or a guy that would win the championship. You want me to look at Drake Maverick as the guy, the head of the class for the Cruiserweight division? Meanwhile, this guy was fucking in WWE on the main roster, pissing himself on pay-per-view with AOP. And you want me to take this guy seriously over guys like Phantasma? and Swerve Scott and Kushida, Jake Atlas, Tozawa. Give me a break. Give me a break with this one, man. The match itself was fine. The ending was fucking terrible. Creative, but that doesn't mean creative has to be good. I didn't like it at all. So we're going to go and fast forward to the end here. If you guys watched NXT last night, Kushida was up top. Atlas went up with Kushida. Kushida hit the apron, held Atlas in place, and then joined him on the top turnbuckle. Drake got involved and knocked Atlas from the ring. Drake joined Kushida at the top, and Kushida put on the Saka. What is he? What is that? The hoverboard lock? What does Moro call it? Sakuraba lock? Sakuraba lock? Atlas hit a super kick on Drake, who fell from the top rope. Then Atlas joined Kushida up top, and then Kushida hit his rolling arm breaker on Atlas into the mat, off the top rope. Atlas actually was tapping. The referee didn't see it. But Drake Maverick came over. The referee did see Drake Maverick come over from the outside into the ring while Atlas was tapping, with Kushida having the armbar applied, which the referee did not see. The referee seen Maverick put his arm on top of Atlas, make the cover, 1, 2, 3, and Drake Maverick advances in the round-robin Cruiserweight Championship interim tournament. Now, two things here. Number one, I don't know why the referees are always being treated as an afterthought or they're made to look like a bunch of dummies. Number two, why wouldn't Kushida's armbar in that instance be considered also a pin? Because Kushida had the hold applied and Atlas's shoulders were on the mat even before Drake Maverick came over and made the cover. There was an instance earlier in the match where I believe Kushida got a German suplex on Drake Maverick and at the same time did an O'Connor roll pin. He had both of these guys pinned. He had Atlas pinned in an O'Connor roll, and he had Drake Maverick pinned in a bridging German suplex. But Drake Maverick kicked out, and Atlas did not, and the referee stopped his count. These are the things that I pay attention to. These are the things that I call out as ridiculous. The match itself was fine. That instance was ridiculous, and the ending was ridiculous. I'm like, I give up on this tournament. I gave up on this tournament before we even got to this point, and with Drake Maverick beating Kushida, now I'm really over it. I just don't know why you wouldn't go with a Kushida versus Phantasma match that could really potentially be a match of the year candidate for a guy in Drake Maverick that you're really not even going to bring back anyway. And if you do, if it gets to that point where he is back in the company, the fuck is he going to do? You're going to push Drake Maverick as a threat in the Cruiserweight division? WWE's probably looking forward to getting rid of this guy. What does he bring to the table that everybody else that was let go does not bring to the table? I hate it. It's so pathetic. It really is. WWE, classic WWE, using the real-life emotions of somebody that was fired in this case, trying to turn it around and make it into a just up-and-coming, just great story, right? Come from behind, saving his job. The only way he can save his job is winning the championship. And then he doesn't win the championship. WWE used this guy to sell this tournament, and they ended up making a bad decision in the process by him going over all these other guys that are much more qualified to be in the position that he's in right now. Can't get behind that, man. WWE shitty practices and WWE shitty booking. So that's what I have to say on that. Drake Maverick wins. He goes on to challenge Phantasma for the Cruiserweight Championship, and that was it. That was it. Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano was introduced. He came out with Candice LeRae. Another new theme music, or theme song for Johnny Gargano. Last time he came out, he had new heel theme music. I guess they didn't really like the way that one felt for Johnny Gargano. So now we got another new theme song for Johnny Gargano. This one is a slow, crunching metal riff, kind of dark. fits the Johnny Gargano way, being that he is now evil, right? And they are trying to turn NXT into what they think is the proper image. So they got his, they got him as his, this heel with new theme music. But man, I still love Rebel Heart. I really do. Rebel Heart is that theme where you hear it, and it's such a great babyface theme. I always thought this about Johnny Gargano when he was going to get to that point. When he was going to win the NXT championship, and it was going to be in an epic way, because everything that Johnny Gargano does is fucking epic. In that epic way, he'd win the title, and then Rebel Heart would go off. Man, it's just a classic baby face. You just feel it. You feel it here when it goes off, right? Not many themes have that feeling on people. That one did. But now he's got a new theme song, and the people around ringside were booing very obnoxiously. It wasn't even like a cool boo. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who do you think you are? Johnny Gargano was booed by the NXT faithful. I'm loving Johnny's shtick. He's very adamant about what he's talking about. He stands up for what he thinks is right, which I love. And he's also this sniveling prick who kind of hides behind Candice LeRae at the same time while being very adamant about what he thinks is true, hiding behind his wife, and he's like the guy that pokes, right? She could be saying something, in regards to Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox, you're a disgrace, and then Johnny Gargano's behind her. Yeah, you're a disgrace. Poking the bear. I love it. Absolutely love it. So Johnny, he said there's a lot of good hands in NXT. He said he was proud to announce that tonight was the first ever Johnny Wrestling Invitational. He pointed at guys at ringside. He said, it could be you. Keep working hard. Keep working hard. But he said tonight's lucky winner was Adrian Alanis Morissette. Adrian Alanis from Evolve. I remember seeing this guy in Queens at I think it was Club Boom. I think that's the name of the place that they perform at in Queens. La Boom. Club Boom. La Boom. Whatever. I was there a couple of times. And I know I seen Adrian Alanis. I don't know who he was affiliated with in Evolve, but I do remember the name. And he was up against Johnny. Squash match. I mean, this one was like 40 seconds, 50 seconds or so. Big forearm by Alanis. Super kick by Gargano. Gargano escaped for the finish. And that was pretty much it. Now, the thing with Johnny Gargano is, it's going to be a great match no matter what with Johnny. And I have no doubt about it that Johnny's going to heal it up. But I feel like, now this is just my honest opinion, I feel like Johnny Gargano should keep the Gargano escape in his arsenal, but not use it as a finisher. The Gargano escape, to me, resembles a babyface finisher, right? I'm always going to see that. I'm always going to see the Gargano escape on Adam Cole when he won the championship at TakeOver New York. I don't want to see what is, to me, the biggest babyface moment in the history of NXT applied as a heel in this heel persona with Johnny Gargano. I think he needs something a little bit more impactful. I think he needs something a little bit more sinister for a finishing move, maybe a super kick or so. I know it's very generic, but something along those lines. Something quick, something impactful, something that he could use in a cheat situation, right? Look at Candice LeRae with her wicked stepsister or wicked stepchild finishing move that she's got. She grabs the opponent by the arms, wrenches them back, and stomps their face into the mat. Something like that. Something really sinister to fit these heel tendencies that he's having now. So after the match, Keith Lee and Mia Yim were on the big screen, and they were in their kitchen. So they played a spoof off of Dinner with the Garganos. It was Dinner with Mia Yim and Keith Lee. So Lee placed a centerpiece of roses on the table, and Mia said, "It's trashy and phony and cheap. I get it. It's like the Garganos." And she spoke to the screen and went back in, black and white. And it was similar to what Candice LeRae was doing. She speaks, and then the screen goes black and white. Same thing happened here with Mia Yim. She mocked the videos the Garganos have been doing. Lee then followed to do the same thing. He suggested Gargano and his action figures are the same size. Ha 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 ha. Vanilla midget. Ha ha, I get you. Lee asked what Mia cooked. And Mia said the same thing as Candice. Cookout. Takeout. Tegan Nox showed up with a pizza that was mostly eaten. I love me some pizza, man. She was wearing a Latino Heat t-shirt. Fan of Eddie Guerrero. She loves Kane, but she also loves Eddie Guerrero. So she's a fan of the old school. She gets a thumbs up in my book. She left, and Lee got serious about Gargano attempting to lay hands on Yim. He looked in the pizza box and said, "There's only one slice. This is not enough." A man like Keith Lee, he could probably eat all that pizza and still be hungry. But I know me, man. When you put pizza in front of me, I'm the same way. I'll eat the whole fucking thing. Pizza is one of my favorite foods. They said the Garganos would pay, and they clinked glasses to end the segment. Now, I didn't like this at all. I think this was a poor attempt at trying to mock the Garganos, dinner with the Garganos, where they did it right. They did it. It just came off right. It came off sinister. It came off evil. And I feel like they made a poor attempt to, make fun of it. It didn't come off right. Just like with every comedic skit or a comedy line or a joke, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. And this one did not hit. You'd be surprised with somebody like Keith Lee in this type of role, with all the charisma that Keith Lee has, why this didn't end up being a little bit better. Mia Yim has been decent at what she's been doing. Keith Lee's been phenomenal in everything that he's done since this push on NXT, becoming the North American champion. And there's no doubt in my mind that Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano are going to have a fucking fantastic match of the year candidate at TakeOver for the North American Championship. But I didn't like this. I thought this was very forced. It was not funny. Meanwhile, Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, they did it, and they nailed it out of the park. So we'll see what happens with that. But I did not like this, and clearly they're building towards I think it's announced, a Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano match at TakeOver. Drake Maverick backstage said that he has to do another match, if he has to do another match to clear all of this up, because he knows that he kind of weaseled himself into the finals of this thing, that he would. Kushida came in and interrupted the interview. He endorsed Drake Maverick and said he won the match and now he needs to fight for the title. He slapped Drake on the chest in congratulations. Drake asked Kushida back into the frame. "Come here, Kushida." And he said to Kushida, "When I win the Cruiserweight Championship, I want you to be the first man to get the first opportunity." And that was that. Hopefully we don't get to that point. Hopefully we get Phantasma winning the Cruiserweight Championship, because I just think that is a proper representation of the Cruiserweight Championship, not Drake Maverick. And I think the storyline where he has these luchadors, these unknown masked luchadors trying to kidnap him, I think that's going to play a factor into it. They took the week off just to kind of make you forget about it for now. But I do think that it's going to rear its ugly head next week again on NXT during the finals of this Cruiserweight Championship tournament. We had an Imperium vignette. Marcel Bartel introduced who they were. And Fabian Eichner, love him. Fabian Eichner is fucking great. So is Marcel Bartel, one of my favorite tag teams in WWE right now. They are the NXT version of what the Bar, Sheamus, and Cesaro were to the main roster a couple of years back. Said that Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan were a disgrace to their country and to the NXT tag team titles. They said the mat was sacred. Beth said the only reason Imperium were champions was the implosion of Matt Riddle and Timothy Thathcer, who then will meet in a pit fight tonight in the main event on NXT. So it looks like we have the next feud, I guess, for the tag team championships. Tag team wrestling is severely lacking in NXT on Wednesday night, folks. So much so, and I love Lorcan and Burch, that we got to go back to a tag team that is good, but they really haven't been factored into anything much. But just get them on the show because they're a solid act, or get them on the show to put this other team over, right? But they really haven't amounted to much of anything. I remember when Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch were like, for a couple of months at least, mainstays in the tag team division. I remember a couple years back, I believe it was at an NXT TakeOver Chicago show where they actually went up against the Undisputed Era. Fucking great tag team match. And I hope that they can do the same with the guys in Imperium. Very good. Both of these teams are very good. I wish NXT would focus more on tag team wrestling and really kind of set the trend again for tag team wrestling. I feel like NXT has a tag team division right now that is just as bad. I really can't say just as bad because the talent that they have in NXT, I don't know how it could be as worse as the main roster, but the lack of direction and creativity right now, the lack of teams in the division is absolutely mirroring what we're seeing on the main roster. They got to fix that. What was once such a great staple in NXT is probably its weakest link right now. I don't know what they got to do to fix it, but it needs to be done. So we'll see what happens. Shotzi Blackheart. I'm surprised she's still walking. She took a nasty bump in this match against Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez, obviously, with Dakota Kai. Now, I love Shotzi. I think she's going to be a big deal in the women's division. After last week and that solid vignette that they cut on her with the tank and then showing the tank running over some vehicles in the junkyard, symbolism of what she's going to do to the rest of the women's division. She kind of did that to herself last night on NXT. Now, I'm not a big fan of Raquel Gonzalez. I mean, for Christ's sake, she was trained by, I believe she was trained by Giant Gonzalez. She was trained by Giant Gonzalez, I believe. Now, that does not equal a solid pro wrestler in my eyes. But she was not bad in this instance. She's very one-dimensional. There's nothing about her that stands out as a pro wrestler. I'm not going to stand up and fucking go out there and watch a Raquel Gonzalez match. I don't even want to do that now. I'm just being forced to because when I watch it live, I can't fast forward. There's nothing special about her. Dakota Kai, she makes a great presence for Dakota Kai. It makes Dakota Kai's act a little bit more of that snivelly, prick-like heel. I love it. I love it. So it works in that dynamic. When Raquel Gonzalez is in the ring doing what she's got to do, it's not terrible, but it's also not good at the same time. She's not... I would not say that she is a Alicia Fox, or I would not say she's an Aaliyah, or who else is terrible? A Tamina. She's better than Tamina. But you guys get my point. There's potential there, but very little of it, in my eyes. Now, she did what she had to do. There was some points in this match where it wasn't smooth. There was a misstep here, a misstep there, some communication issues there. But they built this thing up as the towering Raquel Gonzalez against the I guess, underdog babyface style of Shotzi Blackheart. Let's fast forward to this thing, because there really wasn't much of note outside of what had happened at the end of the match. So we get a running senton by Shotzi in the corner. Gonzalez bailed out of the way. Shotzi hit the senton on Kai and Gonzalez in this instance, but man, oh man. Running senton in the corner, so Gonzalez left the ring. So Shotzi instead, she goes up top and tries to do a springboard senton, and she fell, or coffin drop, I should say. That's a better description of it. Imagine Darby Allin doing the coffin drop. That's exactly what Shotzi Blackheart here did. She fell backwards. She may have overshot it. It might have been a mixture of her overshooting it and them not being in the same position that they should have been to catch her. I don't know what it was. But when she fell back in this coffin drop, senton, whatever you want to call it, off the middle rope, backwards onto the concrete, crowd went silent. The developmental talent went silent. She landed on the back of her neck, man. This was some scary, scary shit. Now, thankfully, she got up. Thankfully, she got up. Tegan Nox was there. Tegan Nox came out, and she came out to, talk shit to, I guess, Dakota Kai, being that they have some sort of history. Candice LeRae showed up, and Tegan Nox was there, which, it kind of was perplexing to me, being that Tegan Nox was in the fucking segment with Mia Yim and Keith Lee, and then in their house, and then all of a sudden is here in the Performance Center with Candice LeRae. Kind of a little bizarre there, but that's something that must have been overlooked by the development or by the staff in WWE. But Candice LeRae showed up at ringside. leading to Kai causing a distraction that allowed Raquel to hit her finisher in this complete botch. And it was just a botch of a finishing sequence in this match. So this was something that was scary. Raquel got the win, 9 minutes. And Shotzi, I hope she's okay. I really do hope that she's okay. And hopefully we can move on from here. Looks like we're going to get Candice and Tegan maybe before we get Candice and Mia. I don't know what's going to happen with Shotzi. I think Shotzi is clearly feuding with the tandem of Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. So there are multiple women's storylines right now on NXT. You got Charlotte and whatever the fuck she's doing with Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. You got Shotzi Blackheart and Dakota Kai. And then you got Candice with Tegan and Candice with Mia. So you got some good stuff there. And, you know, I love that NXT is one of the brands in WWE that actually gets it when it comes to women's wrestling. They've always gotten it. I mean, women's wrestling was born in NXT to what you know it to be now, or whatever it is now. That's exactly what it is. Coming from NXT, it was born here. You know, they get it. You know, you don't have to always have just one women's feud on the show. You got a 2-hour show here. You got multiple women's feuds spanning multiple segments. Now, some of you might not like that. Some of you might like that. But I think it gets everybody involved and it gets everybody on TV and it gives everybody an opportunity to get their shit in instead of having one segment and then keeping somebody in the back for an extended period of time. I think it's great. And they usually get it right in NXT. And that's one of the bright spots of the brand. It's women's division. So we got that happening. Damian Priest and Finn Balor. That is now official for TakeOver. And we got a Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Charlotte Flair match at TakeOver that has been confirmed as of this week as well in a triple threat match. But speaking of these three women, they were in a tag team match. Rhea and Io teaming up. I guess Io is now a babyface. But Moro is still calling her the Joshi Judas. So I don't know what's going on there. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Charlotte Flair and a mystery partner that ended up being Chelsea Green. I don't get what they're doing with Chelsea Green. It seems like Chelsea Green every single week is coming out in a different light. You know? One week she comes out as something, next week she comes out as something else. This week she came out as something completely different than what we've seen. Chelsea Green has it. No question. Chelsea Green, to me, is a very good talent. I loved her going back to her days in Impact. I loved her when I seen her live for the first ever All In show. She was in a match with Tessa Blanchard and Britt Baker. Chelsea Green was in there. Chelsea Green, I even said it in my review then. I thought Chelsea Green was probably one of my MVPs for that entire show with what she did. She is very good. But I feel like WWE, they don't really know what to do as far as settling on a gimmick for her. I don't know what they're doing as far as Chelsea Green goes, period, as far as storylines. It seems like Chelsea Green and everything that she's doing is kind of up in the air. They don't really know. Seems like this is a test run to see how Chelsea Green does, to see how it gets over with the audience at home. Does she have the ability and the natural charisma to be in the ring with these three women? Absolutely. What I don't want them to do is make Chelsea Green like everybody else. I feel like they've already taken what was so special about her and kind of dumbed it down, completely got rid of it, honestly, and made her into something like you would normally see out of the women's division from anybody. To me, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I don't really see a difference from what Chelsea Green is doing compared to what Aaliyah is doing with her gimmick. You know? There are some in the company that do stand out. Rhea Ripley stands out just by the way she looks, and by the way she speaks, and by the way she wrestles. Io Shirai, everything about her stands out. Candice LeRae, everything about her stands out. Bianca Belair, everything about her stands out. You know? I don't really get that with Chelsea Green. They took what I loved about her so much, got rid of it, and now she's just as a normal diva in WWE is. So I don't know what you guys think about that. This match itself was fine. The match itself here went about 12 minutes. Really nothing special about it. And it's simply built to whatever's going to be at TakeOver with the triple threat match. So Flair let Green start the match. So Flair was obviously playing the heel, wanting to be away from Rhea Ripley here. So Shirai was in there with Green, and Shirai wiped out for a tiger feint kick. She went for a tiger feint kick, missed that. Green leapt through the ropes with a tope on Shirai. Shirai was taken out momentarily. Flair was now more than willing to come into the match because now the one woman that she is currently dealing with, one of the women that she's currently dealing with, is now weakened. So now she came in to kind of pick apart Io Shirai. So Shirai with a comeback on Green when Shirai dove through the ropes to splash onto Green with her own tope. Reversing an Irish whip, Green sent Shirai crashing into the guardrails. We go to commercial break. Flair back from commercial break, working over Shirai. Shirai ducked chops by Flair. Flair hit Green with a chop by mistake. Green shook it off, got back into the match. Ripley was then in the match, getting the hot tag. House on fire, babyface go. Green fed into her. Flair twice in the matter of moments jumped in to break up pinning attempts. Flair then went for the figure four, but Shirai made a save. Shirai tagged in. She had Flair reeling with her own comeback for a near fall. Shirai with the roll-up into a double stomp on Flair, which looked great. That double stomp on Flair looked great. She followed up with a tiger feint kick. Green pushed Flair out of the way to take the bullet for her when Green got in the path of a springboard missile drop kick by Io Shirai. Ripley was knocked off the apron. Flair rolled up Shirai at the end of this with a schoolgirl, but Flair did not win clean. She had her feet on the ropes for added leverage. Referee did not see it. Charlotte Flair pins Io Shirai in this tag team match, and that's the way this match ended. I'm not going to sit here and really complain about this because, I mean, this is just WWE operating like WWE. They protected Shirai in the one-on-one situation, honestly, and the way I look at it is Rhea can't be pinned because Rhea more than likely, I hope, creatively, they give her the championship, and Flair just goes back to Monday Night Raw, so we don't have to see Flair on 3 fucking shows. Rhea needs the title, so obviously she can't take the pin, right? Chelsea Green, yeah, you could have had the team lose, but she's teaming with Charlotte. Charlotte handpicked Chelsea Green in this instance, so you mean to tell me that WWE Creative is going to give Charlotte the opportunity to pick her own partner here, and then when she does, she loses? That would make Charlotte look weak. WWE can't do that. So you got the odd woman out here, folks. It's Io Shirai. Unfortunately, it's Io Shirai. Rhea can't lose. Charlotte can't lose, right? Because she's the NXT Women's Champion. And her team can't lose because she handpicked Chelsea Green. And Chelsea Green is being pushed right now a little bit by management on WWE TV. So they want to make her look strong in this. Shirai obviously was the odd woman out. And it was a protection by Charlotte Flair cheating and putting the feet on the ropes. She didn't win clean, so it kind of protects Io Shirai. But WWE protected Io Shirai in that one-on-one match that Charlotte had with Shirai a couple of weeks ago. And now here we are, she's cheating to win because she couldn't get the job done there. She figured, you know what, I could have beat you then, I'm going to beat you now, but I'm going to do the Ric Flair move and cheat to win. Just like her father. So it is what it is, folks. You know, Io Shirai was the odd woman out. You might not like it, but there's nothing to really get upset about. It's just the natural way of doing things. If you look at the scenery here, it needed to happen. Io Shirai was going to be that odd woman out. And I'm sure that at the pay-per-view, it could go either way. Charlotte could retain the championship, right? Charlotte could retain the championship. She can pin Io Shirai. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte could have a one-on-one match for the championship, and that's how they do it. SummerSlam weekend. I'll talk about this as we get on into the pay-per-view weeks to come. There's a couple of different ways they could do it. Charlotte can pin Io in the match, and Rhea would not take the pinfall. She gets a one-on-one match and does it that way. WWE could give Rhea Ripley the win and have her pin Io and not Charlotte. That's another way to do it. Knowing this company, that's probably what they will do because they want Charlotte to look good. But the right outcome, either way you're looking at it, you know, no matter if you agree with it or not, is Rhea Ripley pinning Charlotte, whether it's in this triple threat match or one-on-one. That's the way you got to do it. So we'll see what happens there. WWE has a couple of different ways of going about it. And either way, Rhea Ripley should win the women's championship. Moving on here, man, we got Tomasso Ciampa. And before we get into that, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here, man. The Garganos, they had a brief interview backstage. They weren't thrilled with how things went down with Tegan Nox and then Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Candice LeRae said Tegan Nox should be ashamed, and next week she's going to take out Tegan Nox. So we got Adam Cole and William Regal. This was the next segment. They were shown on Zoom. Cole said his celebration had to be put on ice. They were supposed to have a big celebration for Adam Cole being the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. Champagne put on ice. The celebratory festivities with the Undisputed Era put on hold. Regal said he had no time for whining, so he wanted to give Cole the opportunity to get to the point. Cole said he knew he had to keep it simple because he didn't want it to go over Regal's head. He said the Undisputed Era should have a tag team championship match. Regal said, that's what he wants? That's what you wanted to talk to me about? He says Dream. Now, Dream is what I want to talk about. Is likely to get another shot at the World Championship at In Your House. Cole then called Dream narcissistic, and Regal said they were similar in a way. Cole said it was insulting because he was the cornerstone of the company. Regal asked if Cole understood the art of negotiations. He said he might not want to keep acting like a baby. I didn't find that to be funny, but whatever. Cole said that was his best line since he was a real man's man. Cole said he'd take the match, but only if Dream doesn't get another match against him for the championship afterward. Regal agreed, and he said that he'd find a location that was fitting for the competitors involved that would be fitting for the NXT championship. The two said deal. Adam Cole hung up, and William Regal was left alone on the Zoom call. I always liked the interactions between Adam Cole and William Regal. I thought it was a nice play on Dick Champion and general manager. Dick Champion, who feels like he's being wronged, and the general manager, who is, you know, a guy that doesn't take any bullshit in William Regal. So the play on both of these guys and the interaction back and forth between these guys was very nice. Obviously, the way that they worded it, it seems that the NXT Championship match at TakeOver at In Your House is not going to be inside Full Sail University. It's not going to be in the location where NXT does their filming. It looks like we may be setting up for a cinematic match between Adam Cole and the Velveteen Dream. Where that happens, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin on even thinking about where they could possibly have a match. So we'll see what happens with that. This is the likely outcome here with the championship scenario. Dream getting another opportunity. He was kind of robbed. Of the championship the first go around, so it was always going to lead to another match. Do I still think the Velveteen Dream is not ready? Kind of. I just don't see him as... I love Dream. I think he's one of the best things in NXT. I just don't look at Dream right now as a world champion. I really don't. And he's gone through the ringer. He was the North American champion. He's put on great matches. But there's something about Dream. I guess I need to see more of him in that top role. I guess when I see him as champion and I see him kind of take on the role of NXT champion and go through the motions and be given the opportunity to show us why he deserves this, and, you know, hopefully he can put on NXT Championship TakeOver like main events. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Is he capable of doing that? I want to say yes, he's done it before. So I hope that's the case. There's just something about it that I don't really see or feel right now, and I don't know what it is. It's not like I don't want him to be at that point, because I absolutely think he deserves to be and should be at some point, but I don't know if now is the right time. And if Adam Cole drops the NXT Championship, what does that mean for Adam Cole? Now, there are reports about Adam Cole and his contract being up at the end of the summer. Now, that could mean anything. WWE could obviously be negotiating with him now. That's what I thought this was going to be about. I thought they were going to bring his contract negotiations into play here with him being the world champion and make it into a storyline. That would be great. But he is a free agent at the end of the summer. After SummerSlam is over, we may be saying goodbye to Adam Cole. Now, there was a picture floating around with Britt Baker, or not Britt Baker, but Adam Cole, and him being at an AEW Memorial Day company party. Tony Khan threw a beach party for Memorial Day. Adam Cole was photographed in this picture. It wasn't a blatant picture. It wasn't a picture, hey, Adam Cole, take my picture, right? It was Tony Schiavone and Nyla Rose, and then in the background, you seen Adam Cole. Very distinguished. You look at Adam Cole, you know what Adam Cole looks like. You see Adam Cole in this picture, you know it's Adam Cole. So clearly he was there because Britt Baker was there, and they went together. Now, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. He could have gotten clearance by WWE to go, right? There's no issue there. Everybody in WWE knows that his girlfriend works for AEW, so if she wants him to be a part of this party and wants him to join in on the festivities, I'm sure WWE would allow their champion to go and do what he's got to do with his girlfriend. It's Memorial Day. Everybody wants to relax. They want to spend time with friends and family. So what? So what? Everybody's talking that Adam Cole is going to be going to AEW at the end of the summer. I wouldn't be so sure of that. This guy is the next in line to take on that Shawn Michaels vibe in WWE. A lot of people in WWE say AJ Styles is just like Shawn. AJ Styles is just like Shawn Michaels. He's the Shawn Michaels of this generation. When AJ Styles is no longer capable of doing what he's doing now, who do you think is going to be the next in line? Who do you think is going to be the next Shawn Michaels or the next AJ Styles? It's going to be Adam Cole. WWE has put so much effort and resource into the Undisputed Era. You don't think they're going to give this guy whatever the fuck he wants to stay with the WWE? You don't think they're going to bend over backwards to give Adam Cole what he wants? I mean, if WWE lets this guy go, there's no hope for this company at all. I look at Adam Cole as the future of this company. Adam Cole is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Adam Cole has had one of the best reigns for a world champion ever in NXT. It may be the best ever. It may be the best ever. If WWE doesn't bend over backwards and give Adam Cole what he wants, they're foolish. But Adam Cole is shaping himself up and setting himself up to be a very, very rich man. Now, if he does leave, you may not think much of Adam Cole. I don't really give a shit. I'm looking at Adam Cole and I'm looking at the future. You're looking at Adam Cole, he's nothing more than a vanilla midget, a vanilla indie midget that came over from Ring of Honor in New Japan, and now everybody's singing his praises. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You don't know good wrestlers when you see one? Adam Cole is the definition of a great professional wrestler. He is everything you would want in a professional wrestler. Adam Cole is everything that I look at when I want a professional wrestler. In ring skill, look, style, charisma, mic skill, you name it. You name it. When I grew up watching who I watched, I see Adam Cole. That's why I love what he does so much. If WWE lets him walk to AEW, you might not be thinking it. The fucking idiot on social media might not be thinking about it. That is a absolutely catastrophic blow to WWE. You're letting one of the greatest in this world right now at what he does go over to the enemy. And that's very well something he might want to do. He may want to do that. He may not even take WWE's money because he may want to end up being with Britt Baker. You know, he can't get to see Britt Baker. He can't let Britt Baker into the WWE. They won't allow Britt Baker into the WWE, right? The way she is right now, the top of the women's division, they won't let her come to a company party. It's an AEW employee. Or if WWE has something going on, a gathering of sorts, Britt Baker's going to be there. No. It's going to ruin WWE's image for them, kind of elbowing with the enemy. But they don't realize that money isn't everything. It's going to be one of those situations where he takes the money and he keeps his girlfriend over in AEW, or he says, fuck the money, and he goes and is closer to his girlfriend. Why wouldn't he want to do that? And why wouldn't he want to do that? He's going to be making just as much money, if not more, with Tony Khan. And he's an instant game changer. I'm not saying it's going to be like a CM Punk level game changer, but Adam Cole is going to be a legit game changer for everything in the war, quote unquote, between AEW and WWE. So if they are smart, they better start negotiating with him now. Give this guy whatever he wants now. Would I be upset if he leaves WWE? Absolutely. I mean, this guy's got WrestleMania main event for fucking years to come written all over him. If he goes to AEW, WWE is going to be kicking themselves in the dick for years to come if they don't bring Adam Cole into a contract negotiation phase and give this guy whatever the fuck he wants. Start now. Because if he does and has any idea or any thought about leaving, it's going to be a catastrophic blow to WWE. So that's my thoughts on that. We could see a cinematic match. I don't know where we see a cinematic match. I don't know how they go about it, what the environment's going to be. It's going to be on a beach. It's going to be in Panama City. It's going to be at a nightclub somewhere. I don't know. Clearly, they got some plans involved that are going to put these guys in the environment that they belong in to get their shit done, and the environment that William Regal says the NXT title deserves. I don't know what it is. So we'll see what happens there. And I'm looking forward to it because the cinematic matches, WWE has hit a home run on all of the cinematic matches so far. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan had a vignette. Lorcan said he'd been at NXT for 5 years, which is, it doesn't even feel like it. They talked about respect and knowing how to fight. They showed the two meeting in a pub. Burch said they connected even more than ever before and proposed a toast to the team taking the tag team titles off of Imperium. Oney clinked the glasses with Danny, and I'm not sure if this is a takeover match yet, but with obviously weeks still to fill, we could eventually get that at TakeOver, because what good is a TakeOver if you don't have the tag team championships on the line? So we'll see what happens there, but if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say the tag team titles are going to be on the line at TakeOver between those two teams. Tomasso Ciampa and Leon Ruff, NXT's resident jobber here. Killer Cross obviously didn't do a good enough job because here he is in a squash match against Tomasso Ciampa. 1 minute. That was it. Fairy tale ending. Scarlett came out and she was standing at ringside. After the fairy tale ending, Scarlett was blown a kiss by Tomasso Ciampa. Scarlett left the ringside area. She went up to the ramp, stood on the stage. She stood at the top of the stage and Cross showed up on the big screen. He addressed Ciampa's comments last week. He confirmed that Ciampa and TakeOver were special, but he said TakeOver, that he's going to make Ciampa feel something he's never felt before in his entire life. Tick-tock. I love the sinister vibe that Cross is already giving off when he speaks. Fucking great, man. Can't wait to see what these guys do together. It's very simple. The feud's very simple. There's nothing that NXT is doing to do too much. They're not giving you this overblown, just overwhelming, doesn't make sense, illogical garbage. It's one guy who hasn't been in WWE at all. This is the first time for him. He's going right after the top dog. He's going after the heart and soul of NXT. That's it. I love it. Simple. And these guys should produce a great match at TakeOver. Knowing what Ciampa has done in the past, there's no doubt in my mind this is going to be a great one at TakeOver. Drake Maverick faces Phantasma, Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim. Actually, no, it's not Tegan Nox. It's Mia Yim next week. And we get a prime target featuring the men's championship and the women's triple threat match, meaning they're probably going to go and take a deeper dive into the backstory of Dream and Cole, and then obviously Charlotte, Rhea, and Io going into their TakeOver matches, respectively. And in the main event, guys, we got Matt Riddle versus Timothy Thathcer. This one was stiff. This was awesome. This was very different. This was something that I did not expect. First, we were supposed to get a steel cage match, and then we got this pit fight. And it was not a regular concept that we've seen before in WWE. This was almost a modernized version of when Ken Shamrock introduced the Lion's Den in WWE during the Attitude Era. So this was really eye-opening and eye-catching. It was very aesthetically pleasing. There were no ring ropes. I don't know when this was filmed. There were no ring ropes. There was a cage around, like an MMA-style cage around the ring. There were ladders leading up to a platform that kind of overlooked the mat down below. And it was just a really great setup. I would not be surprised to see this again. This is easily a huge marketing opportunity for WWE. Clearly, if they want to build not only the toy concept I'm going to come up with, but WWE could build this around Timothy Thathcer. They could make this his thing. They could really just build his character around being in this type of environment, in this type of match. This could be his thing. Like how The Undertaker has the Boneyard match, or Mick Foley has the Hell in a Cell match, or Jeff Hardy has a ladder match. This could be Timothy Thatcher's thing in NXT. This also is a huge opportunity for WWE to maintain the concept and push another toy concept out there to the shills. Well, look at this new Mattel pit fight action set with Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher Mattel action figures, right? So you know that they're probably thinking that down the line. They did that as of recently. What was it? Braun Strowman destroying that vehicle, that car, pulling off the fucking hood and destroying the front end of the car. It was made into a legit toy. We seen the advertisements for the toy, and then we seen it on Monday Night Raw, and then people were piecing together the puzzle and correlating one with the other. It was nothing more than a Mattel toy advertisement for WWE on Raw, with Braun Strowman legitimately doing that on Raw, pushing it to the toy stores and to all the advertisers. Look at our new box set. Look at Braun Strowman destructible car action set. So that's exactly what that was. This was brutal. There was blood. I loved it. This was really a great ending to NXT. Now, the fight could only be won by a 10-second knockout or submission. No pinfalls. So they started the match at the top of the platform as they stood on the opposite corners of the catwalk that was above the ring. Riddle leapt off the catwalk, rolled through into the ring. Fight was on immediately. Thatcher went down first, then Riddle springboarded off the side of the cage into a disaster kick. Thatcher was able to get to his feet to break the 10 count, but he was spitting up blood. He spat out what was a tooth. Now, I don't know if that was his legit tooth. I doubt it. But they really made it seem believable. They really built some drama and some intensity with this spot and sold the effects of how dangerous this match is for both Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. Riddle was standing idle while the doctors stopped the match. Timothy Thatcher had blood dripping down his mouth. Kurt Angle with medical gloves on. Thatcher hands him what looks to be his tooth. The doctor comes over and takes a flashlight, and starts looking in Timothy Thatcher's mouth through the cage and deems Thatcher ready to go. Ref, he's good to go. Let him continue fighting. Unbelievable. So Angle put on latex gloves, went to go check Thatcher. Doctor said he can continue. So then they were grappling when the show returned. Riddle went for another springboard off the cage, but this time Thatcher countered, trying for a Fujiwara armbar. Riddle escaped, only for him to take a suplex just moments later. Thatcher then applied a half crab. Thatcher transitioned into a crossface. Riddle was able to break a 10 count, get to his feet. So we got grappling back and forth on the ground, both going for submission hold between Riddle and Thatcher. Riddle escaped the guard. Then he mounted Thatcher for the ground and pound. Thatcher went for a triangle. Riddle deadlifted him. Riddle went to powerbomb Thatcher into the cage, but Thatcher instead broke free to climb atop the platform. Riddle joined him on the catwalk, and the cage fight suddenly turned into a mini scaffold match almost. So this was pretty cool. And while they were on the platform, we got these guys up there. They were trading strikes on the platform. Thatcher caught Riddle in an ankle lock. Riddle kicked free, and he jumped off the catwalk into the ring for a senton. Nobody home. He missed the senton off the catwalk. They were teasing some high spots off the apron. Riddle hit Thatcher with a ripcord knee strike. Thatcher tumbled into the cage. Riddle backflipped off the platform, floating bro, back into the ring. Riddle landed a flurry of kicks, but he crashed into the cage when Thathcer sidestepped a charge. Thathcer then went to lock in a sleeper hold. He was riding Riddle, and Riddle was fading. Riddle tried to get to the cage. Riddle eventually fell backwards, and Thathcer just really applied the hold, snapped it in, and that was it. He was unrelenting at that point. He applied the sleeper. Riddle was trapped. Angle raised Riddle's arm. It went limp 3 times. He didn't tap out. He didn't say, I quit. He passed out. Referee stopped the fight. Angle stopped the fight. And that was a pass out by Matt Riddle. And Timothy Thathcer wins in what I thought was a very different, a very fun, a brutal, intense main event that seen Matt Riddle in his last match in NXT, man. So that was that. Now I got news on Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle may be headed to the main roster. This was Matt Riddle's send-off in NXT. On this week's episode, like I said, Riddle was in a pit fight with Timothy Thathcer. He passed out. Thathcer forced Riddle to pass out to win the match. Earlier in the match, Riddle knocked a couple of Thatcher's teeth out. Dave Meltzer reported after all of this on The Observer that he's headed to SmackDown. Matt Riddle is headed to SmackDown with my good old buddy, Bruce. I love you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Matt Riddle? Hey, bro. You know, doing his deal, and then you got fucking Bruce Pritchard on SmackDown. Now, the decision to move Riddle to SmackDown instead of Raw is interesting because Paul Heyman is a huge fan of Matt Riddle. However, Brock Lesnar might be the reason why Riddle is not going to Raw. Now, that is the easy, simpleton excuse. Oh, well, they don't want to build up Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar. They don't want to put it in anybody's mind. If Brock Lesnar's on Raw, people are going to be crying out, oh, Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar's the money match. They don't want you to think that. They want to get that so far out of your head that they're putting him on SmackDown. And that is the easy thing to do. That is easy to come up with. A fucking moron can have 5 subscribers in a podcast. Well, they're not putting Matt Riddle on Monday Night Raw because of Brock Lesnar. Is that the reason? Or is the actual analytic reason, the logical reason, that maybe Matt Riddle doesn't need to be on Monday Night Raw, that Monday Night Raw doesn't need somebody like Matt Riddle? Look at the fucking talent they have on that show. Matt Riddle is not even needed. I love Matt Riddle. But to put him on Raw, you're just adding another talent on Raw that A, is not going to be used properly, and B, is going to kind of get lost in the shuffle of all those other great talents that haven't even been given an opportunity to do anything on that show yet. Matt Riddle moving to SmackDown, even though we all might be sitting here not liking the direction of SmackDown because of Bruce, it's probably the right decision. Now, we know, kind of, what Matt Riddle's main roster debut is going to look like. Courtesy of Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer live episode this week, WWE will reportedly air a backstage vignette that Riddle has already filmed. So we might see that as of Friday. With regards to what WWE has planned for Riddle right now, some have speculated that he could be reunited with Drew Gulak. He could either go one-on-one with Drew Gulak, which I don't really care for because that's almost as similar to what we've seen with Timothy Thathcer. He could be in a tag team with Drew Gulak. That would be great. I would actually be welcome to that because they need tag teams on SmackDown. That could be a great sell point to introduce Matt Riddle and get Drew Gulak over. Because Drew Gulak, yeah, he was getting over with Daniel Bryan. I was happy to see him on TV. But that could be a situation where, Gulak could maintain that momentum he had with Daniel Bryan and come on in with a hot Matt Riddle. I would even go a step further. Bring Drew Gulak back to TV, have him team with Matt Riddle, have a 3-man stable with Gulak, Riddle, and Bryan. That could be fun. Pair them all together. So, Gulak, speaking of Gulak, he signed with the WWE again after falling into free agency. He walked away from a contract offer. They offered him a contract. He wanted more money. His contract expired. He walked. And he actually re-signed a new contract just a few days ago. Now, another idea. This is another idea here that I had. If you go back and think about all the Goldberg and Matt Riddle situation, right? And then we had that Brock Lesnar, Matt Riddle situation at the Royal Rumble. What was the big thing going into the Royal Rumble that a lot of people wanted to see? It was a Matt Riddle or Keith Lee. We got the Keith Lee showdown for a little bit. But by the time Matt Riddle came into the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar was already eliminated. So Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar in a showdown there, being that Matt Riddle has hyped it up so much. He wants a match with Brock Lesnar. He wants a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. He wants to retire Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I'm like, oh shit. If NXT is going to be in the Royal Rumble and Brock Lesnar is going to draw number one, what if one of those guys is Matt Riddle and we have a one-on-one just for a couple of minutes? Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar, right? That didn't happen. What happened at the Royal Rumble? Matt Riddle ended up eliminated in what, 40 seconds? By who? Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is the type of guy right now who has nothing to do. He's feuding with Elias. Elias kind of beat him. He's got nothing to do. Why doesn't WWE pay? And I hate saying this, but it kind of builds off what happened in January. Baron Corbin eliminated Matt Riddle. What if Matt Riddle shows up on SmackDown and Baron Corbin is his first opponent and he's a decent enough heel? I fucking hate him. I can't stand him. But he's a decent enough heel to get some heat on Matt Riddle, and he's the type of guy that you would love to see Matt Riddle beat up. What if it's Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin as his first feud, introductory feud on SmackDown? That could be a possibility as well. Now, nothing is confirmed. We have to watch SmackDown to find out what's going on. But come Friday, if we see Matt Riddle, then we all know that whatever Meltzer was talking about is legit. Alvarez said this about Matt Riddle and him not going to Raw. He says, and I quote, "The strange thing is that Paul Heyman is a big fan of Matt Riddle, so you would think he's going to Raw. But this Matt Riddle-Lesnar deal, I mean, it's weird. Like, I'm sure there are aspects of it who are people who are just there encouraging Matt Riddle to do what Matt Riddle does. But on the other side, if anything else, should tell you that this is legit because they are trying to work together to build something up for a match. I mean, Matt Riddle goes to Raw. Lesnar's not around. It's not like he can say, I'm not going to share a locker room with them. Lesnar probably won't be around until they start running shows with fans again. So, if you're looking at Alvarez's explanation, put him on Raw, and Lesnar's not even going to be there. Lesnar's not even going to be in the locker room. So what problem is Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar going to have in a locker room that doesn't include Brock Lesnar? But at the end of it, yeah, you could say that. It's easy for you to say that. But Matt Riddle doesn't need to be on Monday Night Raw just based on the fucking roster itself. SmackDown is dying for some momentum. SmackDown needs some legit change. And if Matt Riddle goes to SmackDown and he's a babyface, look at the fucking talent you got over there for him to wrestle with. Gulak, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, AJ Styles, right? Jeff Hardy, Sheamus. There's some good guys over there. So Matt Riddle on SmackDown is great. It's just I don't trust these fucking people. If they were quick to bury this guy in the Royal Rumble, Matt Riddle of all fucking people, what do you think they're going to do when he gets to the main roster? Is WWE going to continue booking Matt Riddle like Matt Riddle? Are they going to take his gimmick and embrace it? Or are they going to take his gimmick and make it into a fucking main roster joke like they usually do and bury him in the process? This is not somebody that you can fuck with. Matt Riddle doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to sit there and kind of take WWE punishing him. Triple H brought him in specifically because he knew how valuable he is and he wasn't going to let his marijuana past get in the way of, you know what, I'm not going to let this guy sit at home and get taken by somebody else when we know we got one of the best wrestlers in the world right now because he smokes weed? Is WWE going to take that and embrace it? Or is WWE going to take this guy because he is one of those outspoken ones, because of his past, because of his actions on social media, because he is the way he is? Is WWE going to take that and bury him because he has no respect for the hierarchy in WWE? They're going to bury him. If Matt Riddle's that type of guy and sees that he's not going anywhere when his contract is up, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to sit there and take the fucking punishment like an abused dog? Or is he going to go and leave and go back to Japan and do what he does best? Wrestle and perform and entertain. WWE's got to be very careful with Matt Riddle, because if they fuck anything up, there'll be a bunch of people, again, as always, complaining on social media, and they may lose one of the best that they got in the entire company right now. The sky is the absolute limit for them to print money with this guy. This is a future WWE champion, a future WrestleMania main eventer. Don't fuck it up. But that's like talking to the fucking wall with these people. You're going to put them on SmackDown? SmackDown is the home of fucking things up. I don't have any faith. I hope that they can turn me around and say, you know what? They did a good job. I don't want to sit here and tell you that they fucked up Matt Riddle. I want to be here and tell you that they actually got something right. I just don't have any faith in them because if you look at all the casualties that came up from NXT, how many of them failed and how many of them actually succeeded? You're going to see a bunch of bodies on this side and ones that have risen to the top here. It's very few and far between. I hope Matt Riddle is on the right side of things going to SmackDown. So that is that, guys. That is NXT last night. And let's get into the super chats here, man. Run through these real quick before we get out of here. Thank you guys so much. 462 likes. Guys, there's 911 people in here. Hit the thumbs up. I cannot even begin to tell you how it helps out the channel, man. So make sure you guys do that for me. And I would really appreciate that. Let's look at the super chats, man. Coming in. Daniel, $5 super chat. Glad you're not changing for anyone. Was proud to support and defend you through the tough week. Stay strong, brother. Thank you so much, my friend. JP, 5150, $5 super chat. What a fight in the main event. Thathcer and Riddle was absolutely vicious. So sad for Matt Riddle, doomed to fail on Snore Down. Yeah. I'm worried too, man. I'm worried too. Jacob Donnelly, $5 super chat. I pray for Matt Riddle's career on the main roster. Raw is the equivalent of life in prison, but SmackDown is a death sentence. Absolutely, man. I agree with you there. Ulysses, $5 super chat. Yo, JD, genuinely hope you are well. Beers to you, brother. Where the fuck is Mustafa Ali and Tucker, my girl Bianca Belair? You should make that a shirt. Don't worry, I got some ideas for some shirts coming up, man. I just got to get some nice graphic artists to do them. Second, we got a $5 super chat from Second Sight. Matt Riddle will go one of two ways. He's in a dead feud with Lashley, Lesnar because of his MMA experience, or he's completely buried over backstage antics. Pretty much exactly what I said, man. Andrew LeVar, $5. I'm scared at the thought of Vince giving Riddle a script and having him lose to Braun. Also, with him leaving, that probably means Dream is winning the belt. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with Dream. Dream is more than likely going to win the belt. And Matt Riddle, listen, man, if you hand a script to Matt Riddle, you're doing it all wrong, bro. You're really doing it all wrong. Marcus Patterson, $4.99. Hey, JD, do you think the elites are thinking of filming the Jaguars Stadium for a pay-per-view one day? Do you think they have potential to fill it up? Marcus, I do think that we will get to that point sometime. AEW isn't even a year old yet. You know, you start talking about that. You shouldn't even be talking about it now because we don't know when live fans and stadiums are going to be filled up again. But that is something for discussion maybe 5-6 years from now. Let AEW continue to grow, and then eventually we'll get to that point for sure. Neighborhood Smart, $5 super chat. What's up, man? Fight Pit was dope. I want more. From what I heard, Bruce asked specifically for Riddle on SmackDown, so that might be a good sign. I doubt it. I haven't heard that. Maybe we'll find out something in the hours to come, going on into the weekend before we get into SmackDown. But Bruce asking for Riddle on SmackDown, that could be one of two things. Number one, he's looking to bury him just to appease Vince McMahon, or two, they genuinely want to do something and build their show around something cool and fun and different. So we'll see what happens there, but thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Ulysses with another $5 super chat. Bro, can I ask, do you put emphasis on Drew Gulak's name on purpose? Because that is hilarious to me. As long as it's not like Humberto Carrillo. Yes. I do put emphasis on Gulak. And I do the same thing with Humberto, and I do the same thing with Riho in AEW. Yes, I do it on purpose. Quintendo, $5 super chat. You are the funniest man in the wrestling universe. I wanted to ask you about the Adam Cole AEW rumors. Talked about it, bro. Obviously, if you listened to the show, you heard my thoughts. Thank you for the $5. Michael Carpenter, $2. How long does AEW last? See you on Twitch, my Messiah. I don't know why that is a question. How long do they last? I hope they last for a very long time. As long as AEW is around, the wrestling industry will thrive and be healthy. Jacob Donnelly, it probably won't happen, but if the rumors about Adam Cole are true and he was to leave, competition between AEW and NXT would be as good as dead. Yeah, it would swing completely in the tides of AEW. No question. Jacob, thank you for $5. Ulysses, another $5. I miss Kathy Kelly. She was the hottest interviewer in WWE, in my opinion. Speaking of interviews, is Melissa Santos going to AEW since Brian Cage is? Could be. I'd pick her up. She does a great job. Thank you for the super chat, Ulysses. Carlos, 7X, $5. JD, thank you for your dedication. Your hard work is appreciated, bro. Thank you, my friend. Mikey Ozone, $1.99. I hope they book Riddle into the IC title picture. Absolutely. I mean, he's a perfect fit for that, so we'll see what happens there. Mr. Premium, 2002, $4.99. It would be quite the steal for AEW if they got Adam Cole to sign. Guess we will see what happens. Hope all is well, my friend. Doing well. Thank you, Premium, for the $5. Dylan's Wrestling Reviews, $2 super chat. Thank you. Love your work. Keep up the great content, says Wrestling Matches, $2 super chat. Thank you, bro. Ulysses with another $10 super chat. Seriously getting tired of wrestling, mainly WWE, because of the sensitive, soft weaklings that find everything offensive and try to cancel anyone, including fans. I know this personally. It's the society we live in, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Don't really want to get started on it because then I would really go off on it, so I don't want to get started. Steve Wynyard, £2. AJ, Brian, Riddle for the IC title. Take my money. Absolutely. Like I said, I see him fitting into the AC title picture perfectly. Matt Hendricks, Fight Pit was basically the Lions then. It's exactly what I said on the podcast today. Glad you agree there, Matt. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Matt Eagle, $4.99 super chat. The bad thing about NXT wasn't Riddle lost, but knowing he'll be suffering through months of boring feuding on SmackDown with Corbin. We'll see, man. Listen, I'm hoping for the best. Matt Riddle's a once-in-a-lifetime talent. I hope that they don't fuck it up, really. So we'll see what happens on Friday, if he does have that vignette air like Meltzer said. Dylan's Wrestling Reviews, $2. What's up, JD? Keep up the good work. Thank you, brother. Ulysses with a $20 super chat. You guys are beast, man. Wrestling fans may be the worst next to choosing sides in politics. I'm at my breaking point, he says, and really can't enjoy wrestling because of lame losers. Why can't individuals express themselves in a real way nowadays? I don't know, bro. You know, again, don't really want to get started on it. I want to put everything behind me. Whoever hates me, hates me. Whoever loves me and wants to be here, you're welcome. Don't really want to talk about it anymore, but thank you for the $20, brother. You're doing good work here, man. I appreciate it. Jake Dunning with a $50 super chat. Hey, bro, are you a fan of New Japan? Would you consider covering them more when they start back up in June? Hope you and your family doing well after this weekend. We got your back. We all love you. Keep on killing it, buddy. The family's good. New Japan, I don't think so, bro. But anything can happen. If it's a major show and big things happen, I'll cover a match or so, but never some full shows because I'm just not, A, invested, and B, I got so much going on with WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW, and then the podcast is just no time in the day. And to be honest with you, I want to start building up my Twitch family, and we're almost, I believe, how many subs we got? We got about 14 subs to go before we get to 100 subs on Twitch. That's a big deal, man. So, thank you for the $50, brother. You're a beast, no question. Smark with another $2 super chat. Ain't feeling you on Maverick, man. I'm all for it, bro. I can't agree, man. I can't agree. I think it's terrible. I think Drake Maverick is the complete opposite of what the Cruiserweight Championship should be. He's not good in the ring. He's just, WWE exploited this in the most pathetic and just shitty way possible. And I would have went with a Kushida and Phantasma final. That's the way I would have did it, with Kushida winning it. I can't get behind that. I'm just not feeling it. You had my emotional investment with Maverick. If you left it at that, fine. He would have found work, no question. Now they're exploiting it, and they might not give him a job. And even if they do give him the championship, it's going to be bad all around. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I think he is not the right advocate for that title. He's not. He's a joke. He's a joke performer. Having him win the Cruiserweight Championship is going to devalue the championship even further. Matt Hendrick, shout out to Moro for mentioning Hana Kimura. I did not mention that, actually. It was during the EO entrance. He did mention it. So shout out to tomorrow, man. You know? Now I know why he's off social media. Steve Wynyard, £5. Drake Maverick winning, and more Charlotte. WWE main roster is shit. Seeping into NXT. NXT is slowly dying. Yeah. No more, newly bros. No more of any of that garbage. You know, I don't really want to see that type of stuff on NXT. Save that stuff for the main roster. Even this stuff with Keith Lee and Mia Yim, that's like main roster garbage. Keep that shit on main roster. Please don't filter that shit into my NXT. Please. Matt Hendricks, 2 $5 super chats. If Io wins the title, it's only because Shida won the AEW title. I just have this feeling. And he says, WWT's Matt Riddle's first feud on the main roster, being with Baron Corbin, just preparing you for the burial of Matt Riddle. I hope not, man. If they're putting him in a feud with Baron Corbin, he's going to have to come out on top. So, like I said, coming out of the Royal Rumble, Baron Corbin was the one to eliminate him. I could see them visiting that. Baron Corbin's like the introductory heel that everybody goes up against. So, I could absolutely see that happening. Primo Cologne, $1.99, $2 pound, super chat. JD from NY, burner account, an absolute low-life troll. I'll let you say it, bro. That's all I will say on that. Wrestling matches, $5. There is a John Cena bot talking about you dirty in the chat. I don't even give a shit, man. We're about to get the hell out of here anyway. You're all giving me a view at the end of the day. Thank you to the John Cena bot. We got Steve Wynyard, £10. He says, does Adam Cole trust Vince? Look at Shayna and the investment there was, and they still threw it away. And all the others. If you were Cole, what would you do? That would be all elite. Money is not everything. You said it You said it best, bro. You said it best. I'm sure we'll talk about that as the weeks go on. Noodles, thank you for becoming a new member, bro. Kenley, $5 super chat. I might be wrong, but do you think Adam Cole is similar to a Triple H? A little with his promos level. If not, who do you think is much like Triple H in WWE right now? Tomasso Ciampa. Tomasso Ciampa is a mirror image of Triple H. That's my take there. Noodles with a $10 super chat. I appreciate everything you do, JD. If only you knew how much you helped me through my everyday life. Thanks for caring about your fans. The haters don't know a damn thing about you. I appreciate that, man. You know, everybody was labeling me. This is all I'll say. Everybody's labeling me a bully. Everybody's labeling what I said to be bullying. It's not. It wasn't bullying. It was a crude joke that shouldn't have been said, but I have looked back and realized that it was wrong. It was a crude joke that in no way meant to bully anybody, that didn't land, and it was supposed to be an analogy between Alexa Bliss doing nothing in the ring, and I compared it to a crude joke. And that's all it was. It's not bullying. In no way, shape, or form am I a bully. Everybody that's hating on me doesn't know jack shit. So, it is what it is. I apologize. We're moving on. Alexa said thank you for apologizing, and that's it. Leave it at that. Noodles, thank you so much, man. And you won't hear about all the good that people say I do for them. You know, you won't hear about Alexa accepting the apology in the dirt sheets. You won't hear about me apologizing in the dirt sheets, because negativity sells. So why not? Anthony Nelson, $20. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate that. Clash with a $1.99. What happened to the bunny? She was actually on Dynamite last night. Apparently, she is in a storyline with QT Marshall. She has a crush on QT Marshall. So we'll see what happens there. No more bunny, man. She's just Allie now. I know you like the leather outfits, bro. I know you like the leather outfits. I know. Matt Hendricks, $5 super chat. To me, it seems like all signs point to Io winning the title the way that she's being booked. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know, man. Rhea, you know, the thing with Rhea is they may very well give it to Io because Rhea's momentum was stalled when she lost that match to Charlotte. Everything was erased completely. Erased. So why not give them the opportunity to give Io that shot to shine now? You know? Give Io that opportunity to shine. Because Rhea Ripley the momentum for her is not there anymore. So it is what it is. Shy God, $1.99. Shout out to JD for being honest and hardworking. Thank you, man. TNT title on the line each week is good. Clash, $1.99. I talked about that on the Dynamite review. I'm not sold on it yet. We'll see what happens. But I do think as time goes on, they're going to run through it very quickly. And it's not going to really mean much I feel like they're going to blow through all of Cody's opponents. But we did talk about it very, very detailed and very in-depth on the Dynamite review. Go and check that out. Nathan Hughes, $5 Super Chat. Thank you for everything you do. I'll always support you. Always here if you ever need someone to talk to. F those other guys. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate that, man. I really learned out of all this who's with me and who's not with me. So it was really eye-opening, man. And fuck everybody that's not with me. I couldn't give a single shit about you. And then finally, guys, Otis Slots. Actually, we got another one coming in here. Otis Slots. Love you, bro. Fantasy AEW versus NXT Dream Match. Go. Cole versus Omega. Cole versus Omega or Gargano versus Omega. Either one of those. Cody versus Ciampa. Another one. And then Primo Colon, another super chat, man. Primo's only appearance in WWE was the last ride as of late, for sure. Yeah, man, he was training The Undertaker. Good on him that The Undertaker trusted him to get him battle ready, coming back from all of those injuries. So that was that. Guys, let me see my theme music. Yeah, man, there you go. Got some theme music, man. Listen, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. If you enjoy the podcast, please hit that thumbs up. We got a nice audience here this afternoon, and I would appreciate it if you show some support. Hit that thumbs up. 544 likes. Let's get that to 1,000, man. Everybody in the chat, gathered together. Hit that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will be back, as always, for Off the Script this weekend. We got SmackDown coming up. We'll see if Riddle debuts. Should be good. And I'll be back with you guys with all the big news coming out of this weekend in WWE on episode 328 on Off the Script, guys. Love you. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all back tomorrow for OTS in the afternoon, guys. Take care, and I'll see you then, man. Love you.